I think I really resisted for a while.
So I was initially going to do theology until about I was 17.
I was like, no, I'm gonna, be a lawyer or something really fancy.
And then I realised I actually could study books full time. People let you do that.
But I always loved English and always did quite well in English. Was really passionate whenever we did it, and sort of even at GCSE level, I was like, yeah, this is great.
So yeah, then I decided I was going to study English and haven't looked back.
I come from a working class background, and I think my parents were impressed that I wanted to go to university and study. And English was always a subject that they thought had a lot of currency and value.
I knew I liked the subject, but I didn't necessarily know what it would lead to.
From the age of about 6 or 7, I was creating my own stories. And I absolutely love to create new characters and worlds, and the ability to build stories out of nothing essentially was something that I was absolutely in love with.
And actually, I'll confess here now, I didn't get the grades to get into university. I blagged it a little bit. And once through the door, then it was doing the degree that I found that kind of passion. And my imagination was sparked, that same imagination that was sparked by books read as a young kid.
It's the first time I read 1984, Lady Chatterley's Lover. I read plays called Julie by Strindberg, just because it had my name in it. But again, it introduced me to a whole different way of thinking again. I went back. I started looking at Shakespeare again, because when I did it when I was 15, I don't know about you, but it was
So I've read a lot of Enid Blyton. Magic Faraway Tree was one of my favourites. Again, but just because of the creativity and the mind pictures that words could build up.
And again, I found this critical way of talking about the world that enabled me to start articulating things, not just about the subject, but about myself.
I knew I enjoyed reading books. I knew I enjoyed thinking creatively, writing creatively, and delving into many different kind of cultures and histories and paths through literature.
Using stories, characters, the kinds of things that sparked my imagination in those early days to reflect on those questions.
At A-level, I loved it. I got so into it. We got to pick our own books for one of the essays, and I was like, this is the dream.
You haven't maybe felt like you measured up because you didn't get those grades, not necessarily feeling like university isn't for you, or feeling dissuaded from pursuing that further education, because actually sometimes one blossoms late, shall we say.
One of my teachers just kind of stopped me, and I was going to do primary education at that point. That we'd changed from, many a thing, and he basically was like, well, why primary education? Why not English literature? Like you're good at it, you love it. And I was like, oh yeah, like you're right. And so then I sort of took a step back, and I was like, yeah, English is for me.